that has to do with the challenges maybe that you faced and how to overcome challenges that girls might be facing. Give them a little heads up and possibly even a little message to the gentleman about how important it is to have both perspectives and both talents in any position or job. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, I think in terms of becoming a professional scientist, I backed into it. When I was going to college, I knew that there were any of three things that I could do. I could be a nurse, I could work in an office, or I could, let's see, what was the third? Oh, I could be a teacher of all things. Yes, I could be a teacher. So I assumed when I got out, since I didn't want to be a nurse, and I didn't really want to work in an office all the time, I assumed that I would become a teacher. I didn't know what that would mean, but I was interested in physics. I had taken a summer course in it, and it fascinated me. So I went to a college where there were women who taught in the science departments. There were women who taught in all of the departments. And all of a sudden, I realized that I could do more than teach. Not that teaching is not important. I taught for 20 years while I was a researcher. So I think teaching is vitally important. But the fact that there were women who could do other things just fascinated me. I was lucky when I graduated from college. My laboratory partner went to a military laboratory for an interview for a summer job, and the interviewer said, "Well, don't you want a job too?" And I thought about it for about a millisecond, and I said, "Well, yes, of course, I'd love to do that." And one of the joys of being in this field is knowing that no matter what you do, you will always have the possibility of a job, because everybody respects people who understand science and engineering and all of the technologies that are associated with them and the math that is in under all of them. If you can do that, they assume you can do anything. That's not necessarily true, but it's certainly a good perspective for them to have. I went to an undergraduate school that was all female, and the first thing that I did was walk into a group that was almost all male. There was one other woman in the group, just one, and she was a Naval Reserve officer. I learned so much from her, not what to do, but what not to do. I learned you cannot make what you do in your job your entire life, because nobody will appreciate you enough for doing that. I also found that there was an attitude among the men that I worked with that women were not good at doing a whole host of things that we were very good at doing if we had the opportunity. I hated my graduate school at Hopkins because I was the only woman in 100 students, and the grapevine was in the male locker room. Nobody tried to be mean to me, but the fact that I was not part of the community really made a big difference to me. So you guys, remember, we're part of your community. And I guess the most important thing I've learned in my career in hiring people is look at what they can do. It doesn't necessarily matter what gender, what racial background, what economic background you're from. Neither of my parents graduated from high school. My father was kicked out of high school. My mother falsified she didn't falsify her birth certificate. She took her sister's birth certificate and she put her name on it so she could go to nursing school, and she had a constitution that did not stand up against that, so she went and got a job without finishing high school. So I came from a situation where neither of my parents went to college, and I sport a whole lot of degrees beyond that. So I don't care what your background is. I care what you can do, and I care if you are willing to work with other people. I don't want somebody who doesn't work with other people because they will not blend with a team. And today, most of our advances are in multidisciplinary areas where we need every thinking head with every perspective, and the ability to listen to others and to build constructively.
Thank you so much.